A few months ago, I learned how to animate in Moon Animator, although my first animations weren't that good. However, I took steps to better my animation and make it smoother overall, but I feel that there is still space for growth. With that in mind, in this video, I will be learning to get better at animation. I want to know how to animate in R6, as well as getting better with modeling and integrating props into my animations. Once again, I'm inspired to better my skills to realize another dream animation of mine, Premonition. Once again, in FNF Shuckspot. Here's the lyrics that I want to animate.
You misconstrue this. It was you. You made me do this. I never wanted to put you through this because I like you. But that doesn't mean shit when you don't listen. Did my countless words and warnings spark no premonition? You've gone too far. You opened the door. Now I'll show you who was good. That rule was really cool.
This time around, wait, let me get into something more fashionable. There we go. Alright. As I was saying, I'm going to be adding things like improved camera movement, set building, and VFX to my animations. I will also be continuing to use my old goal style by setting smaller goals. I'll be trying to create animations that are similar to what I'll be making in the final animation. So, with that, I'll be animating an attack with a light weapon, an attack with a heavy weapon, and finally, a pickup animation. Without further ado, let's get to it. Before we get into the test animations that I made leading up to the final animation, I want to show you guys some of the techniques that I've learned to get better at animation. So, for that, we're going to be using this guy. For the first thing, I'm going to be showing you guys how I work with my torsos now. So, one of the main reasons I didn't like working with R6 is because there's no upper torso like with R7. It's only the lower torso, which means you have to move the whole thing. But I've started to take advantage of that by making it so that I animate the movement of the lower torso first, and then animate everything else in accordance with that. So let's say I want to make a little wave animation, okay? These aren't going to be high effort at all. I make him go down to the right, back up to the left, and then he comes back down like this, alright? And then I'm just going to ease that to make it look a little better. Sign in and out, my beloved. Okay, so now that I have the torso movement set up, looking pretty good, I'm going to animate the arms and head in accordance with that. Okay, so as you can see, I turned it from just a rigid torso animation into this nice little animation. But what am I going to do with the legs? How do I know how to keep them connected to the ground? Because as humans, when we do things like walking and jumping, we need to put weight down on one leg. How do I know where to keep the legs? That's how I'm going to use my second technique that I've learned. Balls. Stay with me. I'm going to use two little spheres that I weld to the bottom of the dummy's feet in order to make sure that I know where his feet are supposed to stay. Credit to Whatatoad Films for the tutorial on how to do this. As I was saying though, I'm going to make sure that they stick out at the bottom of his feet, and now if you do this technique, make sure to give them separate names. So I'm going to name it Dummy Base L for Dummy Base Left, and Dummy Base R for Dummy Base Right. I'm going to open up Easy Weld because you get that with Moon Animator. And then I'm going to open up the R7 and then I'll select the right leg and the right base. And then I'll just go to Parts, Join in Place. I'll do the same for the left leg. And now we'll see in here, those are attached to his feet now. That's how you use Easy Weld. It doesn't weld it and move it within the actual studio, but in Moon Animator it does. So as I was saying, with the dummy...
Dude, I'm tired of you calling me a dummy. I'm not stupid.
Okay, I'm sorry, dude. It's just what you are.
Well, I don't exactly like being called a dummy all the time, do I?
Okay, fine. I'll call you something else. Okay, so with this... Smarty.
Yeah, I like that. Keep going.
Okay, good. I'm going to be using something called an onion skin in order to show where his feet are supposed to stay. Basically, in onion skin, toggle it by pressing B, it shows where the parts of the dummy, Smarty,
Count your days,
were when you activated the onion frame where your little scroller is. So if I activate it here, it'll show where the keyframes were at this moment in time. If I activate it here, it shows where they were in that moment in time, etc. And I'm going to use that to see where were those little balls on the bottom of his feet when he was here. And then I just line up where the balls are with the onion skin, and then look, it looks like his foot stays in the right place. So I'm going to finish up the animation to just show you guys how much better these techniques can make your animations. Alright, and as you can see, that's the finished animation. Right here, if you look at his leg, you can see it stays in place where it's meant to be. Now for a late night animation, I'm actually pretty proud of this. I like how this turned out. Just a simple, bouncy animation. But that does about show off the new techniques I've learned. So let's get to the test animation. Save and close, and make sure to save this to Roblox. What the? How did you?
God, I was so dumb, huh? Look where I used these smarts to make me bags.
You know what? I'm just gonna go make the rest of the video. Oh, tough times, buddy.
She took the money and the kids, bro.
Just a quick note, this video will be a little different from the first animation one. Instead of time-lapsing the whole animation process, I'll pop in with basic torso movement or a piece of knowledge here and there. Although, I wasn't consistent at all with either of them. Okay, so I have the basic torso movement set up. It's gonna be slash, slash, and then he just does a little knife flip. And now I'm going to talk about another tip that I'm starting to use for my animations. I'm starting to animate on 5s. See, my animation is 60 frames per second, so from what I've learned by watching videos, it is best to animate a keyframe every 5 seconds to make it look the best. But when some movements are looking too fast or just not the way I want them to, I will offset them a few frames, but I'm mostly trying to stick to animating on 5s. And instead of making big movements in just one linear movement like I used to, I'm splitting it up into different velocities so that it looks pretty smooth. Like, I'm happy with how that looks, but right now, I'm gonna get to animating. I'll see you guys again soon. Now, I also do like just watching it from afar, because it just does look genuinely cool in my opinion. Wait a second. There's some issues. There we go. Okay. Now if we turn the camera on, it should look a little cooler. I'm happy with how that looks. I really like how that turned out, dude. So I'm back the same day. I found a better looking axe model, and I've got everything rigged up. I'm gonna start doing the beginning pose for this. Keep in mind, this time around, I'm gonna try and animate with the weapon in there earlier because it's a two-handed weapon, so both arms have to move in accordance with it. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna do the start pose, and then I'll show you guys what I get. Alright, so we got the beginning pose right here. It's nothing crazy, it's just him holding it with both hands. What I plan to do is I plan to have him swing one way and then bring it over his head and slam it down on the ground, and that's all I'm going to do for this. Okay, well first of all we have to get the basic torso movement out, so I'll do that right now. Alright, so I got the basic torso movement set out. Nothing crazy, just one swing and then he brings it over his head, and yeah. So as always, my animation process is I animate the torso, now I'm going to animate the legs. After that, I work with the arms, and then I do the head, and maybe I'll even animate the tail to just give it like a little bit more physics. I'm going to lock back in and do this. Okay, I honestly like how the camera movements with this one turned out more than the knife. I think this last shot looks sick, bro. I think that's awesome. Alright, well, that's our second animation done. And now for the final animation, a pickup animation, which will be a 2-player animation. So I'm gonna go ahead, grab an R7 dummy. This dude. So the plan for this animation is simply Helios will pick up the dummy, just like hold him up for a second and slam him back down. And I'm probably going to be using that same VFX, but it's going to be like a couple second animation, not like a longer one like the attack ones. But he's probably going to hold him out with one arm and then just slam him back down to the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and start setting these guys up. Alright, and I feel that the animation is finished. We'll check it out right here. From another angle. And finally from here. I honestly really like this one. I feel like I made it a lot more dramatic, and I really like the way the slam VFX looks. Okay, being honest, I don't like the current heavy attack animation at all. I just feel like it's too slow, static, and not as exaggerated or fast as I want it to be. So I found this hammer model, and I'm just gonna redo the animation. I'm gonna try and make it look a little nicer. I'm gonna make him do a little spin around and then bring it slamming down. After this though, it's finally time to get to the final animation. Alright, let's take a look at the final animation. Now, I want to get it from this perspective. That looks sick, dude. Oh, that might be my favorite one so far. Going into this final animation, I felt much more prepared than last time. In the first video, I feel like I didn't prepare enough through the mini animations nearly enough, ending up in a not so great finale. However, now that I've done some more well done animations in this video, done some animating outside of this video, and learned better techniques, I feel a lot more prepared going into this final, longer animation. Being honest, I didn't record a lot of the animation for this one. I was constantly calling my friends and taking frequent breaks while animating, so I would stop recording and forget to turn OBS back on. So, I'll just show you guys the finished animation. Here you go.
Don't you misconstrue this. It was you. You made me do this. I never wanted to put you through this because I like you. But that doesn't mean shit when you don't listen. Then my knowledge words and warning stop no premonition. You've gone too far. You opened the door. Now I'll show you who's good. That rule was really cool.
Ending off, I feel like I got a lot better at animation. Learning these new techniques and putting them into practice has noticeably improved my animation, although I want to keep improving, so I'm going to keep animating. Whether it be more 30-second animations like the Shucks one, shorts, or even short films I've been thinking of ideas for, I'm not done here. And just one last note, I'm sorry if you heard any keyboard clicking or mouse clicking or me hitting my desk throughout this video. My noise suppression was really messed up during recording and I only just found out when I started editing. Anyways though, that's all for now and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace out and have a God blessed day.
Driving in my car right after I hit that bar.